Yes, we are back. Okay, I'm just putting a couple of sites that I want to put up here so you guys can look at aapc.com if you want to. Um, aapc.com is where you're going to be taking your test at. Okay, and again, don't sleep on that dollar. Don't sleep on that dollar contribution. That contribution is for the contribution is for other students and yourself to help acquire books or any other interview you need in the coding and Sapphire Academy. So again, I am out of town and I'll be out of town for about 3 weeks. I'm not in my regular office back there, um, but I am going to do these chats. I cannot do the chats at 6. I have to do the chats early. Today I've done, this is, I don't know, yours fourth chat. Tomorrow I may have to do them earlier because I have to go out. It depends. It depends where I'm at. Okay, but for right now, we're going to finish your chat three. Okay, we're going to finish your chat three. If I put a chat date or time up there and I cannot do it, I will put another date up there. Okay, I will. I can't get my glasses right. Um, I know I might get me a new pair tomorrow. I have my other one, but I can't. These actually have my I have my bifocals in here, so they're oh god, they're worse. They're worse than trying to see this. So if I can't do a chat, I always change the date of the chat. We don't ever miss a chat. Okay, we might miss a date. Okay, but the chat is not missed. I always do the chat back. Okay, and I guess this thing is back in because I don't have a green screen behind me. And you know what? I did have a green screen, and it didn't work for me. It looked just like how it look now. I didn't get it. And I almost wish I hadn't threw it away. I think I took it and threw it away. I got mad at the green screen and threw it away. But again, we don't miss chats here. If I miss a chat, um, if I miss a time on a chat, we miss a time on a chat. The chat is always done. So if I didn't do three last week, it's definitely going to get done this week. So, but anyway, we are on chat three, and chat three is your program for today anyway. I'm going to go ahead and put up the Kindle, and it's only because I'm gonna put up the rest of them as well, especially for some of you who just want to kind of look at the book and see what's in it. Okay, so again, some of you who just came in on the classroom, I'm just going to put that schedule up there. And that schedule is just pretty much showing you what's in the class that we have. So we've already done medical terminology. We've already done, this is actually medical insurance billing here. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just three and one. Okay, we've already done those and we're here. We're at the coding. Okay. If you guys need to discussion board me, feel free to send me an email. I will put the email up there. Um, some people have Gmail email. I have a Gmail email as well for Sapphire. I'll put it up, and then I'll put the other one up. So I'm just putting this on the side. Okay. All right. So I put that on the side. I can put this right here for a minute. Okay. So I put the ICD-10 book up because that's where we're at. So we kind of just left off here um, in the ICD-10 book. Okay, so I'm still in the same areas. Those of you who are still with me from then, I'm still in the same area because I wanted to stop where we started talking about the poliomyelitis. Okay, the M33 If you have your coding book, I would suggest you go ahead and open your book. Okay, I'm going to get to M3390. I'm just pulling up my other book. You guys can't see it, but that's what I'm getting ready to pull up. And I am in the index to diseases. Okay, but I want to get down to, I'm going straight to my tabular list, and that's only because I want to see that one directly. So the tabular list is at the back of your book. It should be at the back of your book. There are some new books that have the tabular list flipped, and your tabular list is in the front, and then your index is in the back. Okay, so let me show you. This is how your this is how your tabular list look. Let me get in there. Let me show you mine. Um, Share my screen. So when you hear me say index and then tabular list, this is your tabular list. The tabular list um, is normally in the back of the book. There are books that the tabular list is in the front. The AMA, I think it might be in the front. I'm not sure. So this is actually the books version. But in here, when you're looking for something in your tabular list, the chapter is going to take you straight through it. You have to find it. Okay, you have to find it. Okay, so all right. So which one was we looking for? The M. You guys got your book. So you remember we're down here at when we start talking about index notations. We were talking about width. Okay, you guys already read that because it was in your class last week. So the word width in the index is sequenced immediately following the main term, not in the alphabetical order. All right, so it's M33.90. Okay, this is a diagnosis code. Okay, and we're trying to show you how to identify width. So you have your main code, you have your main issue as to what's wrong with the patient. So I'm gonna give you an example just before we come in. So you have, well, we're going to use the M3390. I'm about to look for it in the Bucks book. So the patient came in with a disease or with a diagnosis or a complaint, a primary complaint. And in the primary complaint, the provider he wants to know, well, what's causing the complaint. All right, and this is where this comes in at. Where is that? This is where the M390. Y'all got your book? So I'm gonna stop the sharing the other one because I want y'all to see where I'm at, because everybody should have the Kindle one. So that's why I keep going back to the Kindle one, because this is the one that y'all should have. So this is where we are in the Kindle one. So this is how we show you. So you see how this code is right here, even though I'm looking for the code. So the patient came in with how you say it, y'all, dermatopolymyelitis. We already know itis is infection, right? So that's what the patient came in for. But something else is going on with the patient. So the patient might have that with something else. So you see how the format is of the words that are here and how it kind of goes in like an angle. Your ICD-10 book is going to look like that too. It kind of goes into the angle. So if the patient came in with M3390, and we're going to get into that, how you get to that code. We're going to flip this in just a minute because I don't want to move too fast and then you're not sure how to go get that code. So right now, I want you to don't go to M3390. I want you to go in the front in the index and look for that word. Just like you're looking at a dictionary. Go look for that word in the front. Okay? I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna come to index to diseases. And let me show you what I'm doing. So how are you're gonna find this word, not the code. So if I want to just go and find that code, I'm going to the tabular list. I'm going in the back of the book, but I want y'all to figure out how we got this code. So this is what I want y'all to do. In your ICD-10, it's just like a dictionary. It's almost like a dictionary. Let me show you right here. Because in the Kindle, you can't see that. It doesn't show you how it's like a dictionary. So I'm gonna show you right here. Just like how you look up a word in the dictionary, it's the same thing. Your ICD-10 book in your index to diseases, that's how you're going to look for it. So let's look at this right here. It's just like you're gonna look for it in a dictionary. Okay, hold on. Let me get to what I'm looking for. Wait. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna share. I keep forgetting that. Okay, so now I'm gonna share this with you. So you see how it looks like that? I mean, it's gonna be different formats because you're gonna have your book in front of you, and it might be a little bit different. So I'm not looking for any of these names. I'm looking for that long one that we just did. So in your ICD-10, if you have your book. Okay, now the Kindle book is not showing us in this deep. The Kindle book looks like this is showing us a tabular list. So I want to find what we just saw. All right, so I'm going through it just like I'm going through alphabetic index. But you see all these definitions that are under here. Oh Lord, I gotta stop. I ain't stopping on that. Let's stop on abrasion. Look. So let's say that the patient came in with an abrasion. Abrasion. The provider wants to know what kind of abrasion. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but here we have to find abrasion. Now we have to see where. And then see how this pay attention to this arrow. We have to see where. Now we have to see how deep it is. Now we have to see, is it infected? You see what I'm saying? So go to your index book. Go to ICD-10 and go find the code that I just gave you. Remember the M33.90 derma something. So go find that. So you should land in the same place that I'm about to land in. Okay? Let me see if they got everything in one. All right, so it take forever for me to just do this part. And then they're only doing it like a little bit at a time. Okay, so let me go down. All right, let me do it this way. So remember, you guys should have your book. I'm just doing mine because I have mine here. But you guys should have your book, and this is what you're looking for, and only because I want you to get to that same page. All right. So I'm just taking you back for a minute, just so you can remember what you're looking for. So if you got your ICD-10 book, all right, you have your ICD-10 book. This is where you should be. This is what you're looking for. Okay, that's what you're looking for. I'm gonna leave that right there while I'm in my book. Okay, and where you're gonna look at that because you're looking for the word, not the number. When you're looking for the number, where do you go? Your tabular list. Good. The tabular list. All right. So let me see where we're at here. So while you should be looking for that, and you might have found it already. And what you're gonna see, the same thing that you're showing you right there. This is just helping you kind of navigate through. That's all it is. So it's almost like the dictionary. As soon as y'all find it, let me know. All right, so we're gonna move on. So when you find it, it's gonna give you that same code that you're looking at. Okay. I wanted to find just to break it up and not find the longer portion. I wanted to find the short version so then you can see it come up with more of the code. So M3390. Did everybody find that? DMR. All right, hold on. And again, I don't know which one is up. I can't see it. Okay, so this is the other one. So this is where you should be right here. And this is just showing you the codes that I want you to find. So you're going to look up this word. Even if you have to, break it up, you should be able to find it. And it should take you to this. And you see how this is leaning over like that? This is giving you more in depth of what's wrong with the patient. This is giving you more in depth. This was his primary diagnosis with myopathy. See how this changed? And you can tell by, it's a whole different code, M3390, and he has M3392. Okay? They didn't say whether he had M3391, but if he does, you're going to use this code right here because this is included with this and that. You got that? So you got to figure out which one you want to use. You see how this says the same? This is going to be included with this or with that. So if you say, it's so small, myopathy, right? With myopathy, you're going to use this one. This is already included in that. If you use respiratory involvement, this is already, let me see, because I don't want you to get confused with both. This is included with this. Got it? Because you see how it's going to the side? Look. So if you have a test and this is derma, I'm saying derma because I can't pronounce it, M33.90 with this or this. Okay? So I'm going to go back to the other book. Wait. I hate that we got different books, but you all should be in the same place that I am. A physical book, it would be a lot harder for me to show you. Hold on, y'all. All right, so let me get back in here. I can't see it from here. I gotta come over here, y'all. Okay, so M33.90. I'm getting ready to write this down. I have my book right here. I can use any book. So this is what I'm writing down. Because if you don't have it in front of you, you have to make sure, me too, that you have the right diagnosis. And we already know it's itis. So you know it's infection. Now I found it. I want to make sure you got it. Remember, the patient diagnosis is the first thing you're going to look for in the index to diseases. Okay, that's the first thing you're going to look for in the index to diseases. So in the index to diseases, since I can't do any else, this is what you're looking for. I'm on page 189. I don't know what that is. Let me share my screen. Share my screen. So, in the index to diseases, right? You see how I found that code in there? Well, I'm not going to say code. I don't want to say code. You see how I found that chief complaint? Why the patient is here, right here. Remember, we was in there, and that's what we were looking for, because we want to look for the physical words first, the physical alpha, Here, right on the side of that alpha, is where you're going to make that into a numerical form. Now, it's not like we're making up codes on the top of our head. No, they're already in here, but we had to look for it, right? Yeah. So everybody should have this code. And we're going back to how to find a code in the index to diseases. The index to diseases is just like a dictionary. So we just went to the index to diseases and found the chief complaint while the patient is here. What's wrong with the patient? With, you remember we talked about the with. So you see how this is indented like this? Every time you indent, it's an additional code. So, right, you remember we went there and we saw this, and then it said with, and then it said myopathy, M3302, and then I think it had respiratory involvement, M3391, right? Okay, if y'all lost, y'all make sure y'all discussion board me, all right? Make sure y'all discussion board me. This is how you find a code, okay? So in the guidelines where they're giving you these examples, and this is why it's important to read your guidelines. That's why you guys see me going very slow with the ICD-10. Okay, I'm going very slow with the ICD-10 because I need to make sure you got it. Okay, and that's why this is in 3 sections. Okay, I'm giving this back to you. I just haven't gotten it yet. So the reason why I continue to pull up the AAPC version is because it's in Kindle, and I know a lot of you have the Kindle. So this is what we just look for. So when you're looking for a diagnosis, this is what you're going to look for in the index to diseases. Okay, that's what we found. That's what we just looked for, right? Good. Now, you reading the guidelines is actually going to tell you how to do this. Okay, index notations with. They're giving you a description in case you see the word with. The word with or in should be interpreted to mean associated with or due to. Okay, or due to. Okay, he has dermapolititis with myopathy due to respiratory involvement. Did y'all see how I broke that down? So you say that to yourself, and then you come to the same type of conclusion. Okay, the classification presumes a causal relationship between 2 conditions linked by these terms in the index. Okay, linked by these terms in the index. Now this could be in the record, right? It ain't gonna say, they ain't gonna give you a definition of what it is in the record. That you're gonna do, you're just gonna put the codes. You're not gonna put the words. Now the provider, he's gonna put this. He's gonna put the words. He's gonna put the words. He's not gonna put the codes. You're gonna put the codes. You're going to find it. In order for you to find the diagnosis, you got to go to the index to diseases. Okay. These conditions should be coded as related even in the absence of provider documentation explicitly linking them unless the documentation clearly states the conditions are unrelated. Perfect condition. Pay attention to what I just said and make sure you guys read it. These conditions should be coded as related even in the absence of provider documentation. Why, Ms. Lambert? Because sometimes the provider does not link the codes. I'm saying codes as in the description. You as the coder knows that you can't use that code without that code. So that's where you come in at to fix it. Okay. So just make sure you guys have read this clearly. Okay. Let me see where I'm at. Let's start from here. These conditions should be coded relevant, related even to advanced providers, by explicit link in the. I'm trying to get to the period. Where is it? Just keep going. Clearly stating conditions are unrelated or when another guideline specifically requires documented link. We wanted to go in case we do have to provide a document. Ain't no in case nothing. If it's not there, make sure you put it there. Okay, between 2 conditions. Okay, the sepsis guidelines for acute organ dysfunction that is not clearly associated with the sepsis. They're giving you an example. Sepsis is disease of the blood. It's a blood infection. Okay. So make sure you get that. And this is pretty much just telling you that same thing. The word with index is sequenced immediately following the main term, not in alphabetical order. Okay, we know that. Okay, you know that by how this looks right here. Okay, it have nothing to do with this is 9-1 and that's 9-2. Okay, he got a disease and he got it with this because of that. Okay, so I know it sounds kind of funky, and sometimes in coding, um, when you get halfway through this class, I think you'll be able to decipher what we're talking about a little bit more. But this book that I'm looking at is a free version for you, and this is the one I want you to study your guidelines in. Okay, study your guidelines in this book. Okay, and this is just the rest of that. And when it's something more wrong with the patient, just keep going down the line until you get to the codes that you want. Okay, you keep going down the line. And the index to diseases, if you see the report and it has uh, 4 different things on there that's related, make sure that you put them down there. But again, these are the guidelines that you should be reading. And it's just telling you what the C mean. When the instructions C follows a term, that's going to be in the index to diseases, the one that I just showed you. It indicates that another term must be referenced to locate the correct code. Why, Miss Lambert? Because that code may not be giving you the explicit information that you want. So they're going, well, why don't you look at this code in case this code is not working for you? That when you see C also, that's what it means. You're looking at a code that may not be working for you. So why don't you go check this code? But don't worry, the index of diseases is going to show you the codes that they're talking about. It's going to show you the codes that they're talking about. So, in your ICD-10 book, in those guidelines, and you see explicitly how it's showing you. It's showing you what it wants you to do. I'm going to say it again. C, as in if you see this against a word, or against a diagnosis, it's telling you to see also. So I'm in the Kindle, y'all. I'm on the Kindle on page 213, and it's clearly giving you an example. If you see this, then you know to look for another code. So let me put this up real quick. Right here, see C, and it's telling you what C is. In the index to diseases, it's going to show it to you right here. I'm going to show you right here. Okay? Same as C also. It's going to show you right here. C as in, look, go here right now. I want you to see this code. This one might be better. The instructional note C also simplifies, provides alternative terms. The coder may reference that may be useful in determining the correct code. You might want to look at this. Maybe you think that it's better. And that's what it's telling you. Okay? This is what it's telling you. Now we're going to find out what is the default code. What is the default code? Okay? So y'all know what C is? See this too. I mean, it's going to give you a code to see. Okay, C also is going to give you what else you need to see. Okay, default codes in the index. The default code is the code listed next to the main term and represents the condition most commonly associated with that main term. That's always the one that's either underneath or directly next to it. Okay, and it is called the default code. So if you see somebody who has this disease, they normally have this. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. Okay, they could have this too. They could have that, but they normally have this. Okay. So if you guys want to go find that, you guys can go ahead and find that code. Okay. But right now we're gonna get to things that you may see in the ICD-10 index to diseases. Okay, this again is your default code. Okay, this is your default code. Let me put this up there in case y'all ain't got that. So if you guys can see how important it is for you to actually read those guidelines, because the guidelines is telling you what to do. In the Sapphire Academy, I can get a little bit more detailed in it. But for Y2U, that's where I want you to go with this. So at that point, let me see what else is in here that I can give you. What you're going to do is that section that I just showed you, you're going to go over the parentheses. You're going to go over the brackets. Shaded guidelines. That's what you're going to go over. And this is what's in this portion here. Okay. And this is what's this is showing you how to take those words, how to take carcinoma and turn it into C7A.1. How do I take carcinoma and turn it into numerical form? So what is coding, y'all? Turning alpha into numerical forms, right? Okay, so code and code description. I want you to do that part. So if you guys want a little bit more in depth, you have to join the Sapphire class to get the rest of that. Okay, but I'm still putting you in that same area. Okay, this has the same thing. It's just a little bit more in depth. But here, I want you to make sure you study what is the boldface. When you see words that are in there and they are in boldface, look, because in order for you to decipher the ICD-10 book, you got to be able to know why this is here, why that it is. What is boldface? Type is used for all codes and descriptions in the tabular list. Boldface. Remember, the tabular list is at the back of the book. Okay. So I'm gonna show you that in the other. I'm gonna show you that in the other portion so you can see it. So I'm gonna use this one. If you do have your book, you can write in your book. If you got a 2025 and you're gonna use this book on your test, don't write no paragraphs in there. Just write a couple of sentences, okay, y'all? I know some of y'all get carried away in your book and just be writing. You can't do that. And she may say, your proctor might say, all right, I don't know, you got too much in there. She's just writing away. Okay, I'm just scrolling down. I don't know why this is like that. Okay, hold on. So I'm showing you this right here. So this is where your tabular list is. So if you guys got your book already, it's down right here. I got this in the way. You can't see it because this is here. But your tabular list should be at the bottom. All right. And in your tabular list, those descriptions that they're giving you, that's what they are for. So in your book, your tabular list should be part 3. You remember we were talking about that before? Right here. Okay. And here they're just giving you like an outline of it. But again, in this section, make sure that you're clear on those guidelines. Okay. You can't be able to code and understand what you're doing unless you are familiar with the guidelines, because the guidelines are telling you what is excludes, what is includes. That's what the guidelines are telling you. So before you even begin to code, as you can see in the book, it's telling you what they want you to know. Okay, and then when you start doing your coding, you'll be used to it. You'll be used to it. Do not forget your step-by-step book will be combined with what you're doing. I'm pretty sure in the step-by-step book they have some tests in there for you. Did you guys can do that? They have it for. We have plenty for Sapphire class, and they still use this book as an exercise. But I'm just gonna pop it up there to make sure you guys know that you need your step-by-step book. Your step-by-step book is merely more than what you need to pass your exam. Your step-by-step book will tell you. What's wrong with this? The step-by-step tells you exactly what you have to do. So in your step-by-step book, you should have some tests, because that's why I'm pulling it up, because the test that's in there, I want you to do the quiz. When you go through these guidelines again, you see where I'm pointing out, because you guys may think only the beginning um, is a guideline. No, the whole front of that book is guidelines. Okay, let's give it that. All right. Okay, so I'm in a step-by-step book. I'm just going to show you this real quick. I don't know if that's it or not. Let me see. What's that, y'all? What's that? Oh, okay. I switched over. Okay, so I'm in the step-by-step book. Now, in the step-by-step book, I just want to show y'all how I'm going to use this book. This is the book that you're going to use for your exercise for your coding. Okay, you see that book right there? It's your step-by-step book by Elsevier. You can go to elsevier.com, or you can go to Amazon. Also has this book as well. Okay, y'all. Um, let me see. Okay, so in this book, your exercises for your step-by-step will be in here. And this front page that we have right now, I'm gonna take it down, is your test quiz for what you're doing right now. So the step-by-step book, you can get that. You can also get this from Amazon ebooks as well. Okay, facility payments and services. And you guys, let me see, choked a bit. Somebody's smoking in this building. Okay, so this you already did exercise 2 to 1. That was homework from before. All right. Um, right here. This is where you should be. Here. This is where you should be in the step-by-step book. Okay. She says the alphabetic index consists of 4 sections: index to diseases and injuries, table of neoplasm, table of drugs, external causes and diseases. This is an exact question from the CPC. This is an exact question from CPC, I'm telling you right now. Okay. The ICD-10-CM index utilizes 3 levels of indentation in the alphabetic index. They are as follows: main terms, first, subterm, and carryover lines. Exact question in the CPC exam. Okay, so make sure you do. Well, I'm on page 30. I want this whole chapter done. So, and I'm on unit 2, ICD-10. So this is an overview of ICD-10. So this is what you're going to do. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 subjects. All right, it's 4 subjects in this, and that's what you're going to do. All right. So again, those guidelines that we just did, you're going to finish that in depth, because I want you to continue reading them. Read if you read them again. Read those guidelines again. Okay. What we just saw in the step-by-step, I want you to do. Okay, that's your exercises that you're going to do. It's ICD-10. Okay. I'm trying to see what else is. All right. And then next, we're going to go over the chapters in the tabular list. Okay. We just went through just looking at it in the guidelines. Now we're going to start utilizing. Okay. Now we're going to start utilizing. Okay. So for those of you who are in the Sapphire Academy, you already have like your digital sheets on this already, but this is for you too. Okay. And I'm just kind of scrolling through. So okay, good. So we've not gotten up to the tabular list yet. We're still working on the index of diseases. Okay, so I want you guys to continue to read the index of diseases, and you're going to do those exercises. Okay, let me see. So let me know how you feel about this subject right now that we're talking about, as far as the ICD-10 with the guidelines. Now, because you have to know all of those conventions, and yes, that's very important. You have to know the conventions. Okay, I'm just kind of backtracking, and then we'll go back. I'm going to state them. I'm not going to have them on the screen. That's all. because you guys are supposed to have your book. So I want to make sure that you still are in the right place. Even some of you might not have your book. Okay, so ICD-10-CM, boldface. You're going to be talking about what is boldface. What are italics when you see them? So this is in the guidelines. This is what you should be going over. Okay, what is a deleted text? Okay, when you see a strike through, it's more than likely a deleted text. Keywords. Most keywords are in green font. Okay, so you're going to read that. The portion of the code description that appears in green font in the tabular list helps the code quickly identify the terms. Okay, good. Tabular notations. We're still in the guidelines, y'all. Official parental notes as well as optimum supplementary notations are provided. Once you start kind of looking at this book, you get to know what it's about, and that's what we're doing. We're dismantling this book. We're dismantling this book and figuring out X, Y, Z. Okay. Official notations excludes notes. You guys are going to look at the excludes notes. Okay, you're going to give definition for the excludes notes. The word includes appears immediately under category. Okay, inclusion. I got them backwards. Excludes notes. Excludes one is totally different. Okay, excludes notes. ICD-10-CM has two types of excludes notes. Each note has a different definition for use. However, they are similar in that they both indicate that codes excluded from each other are independent. Now, what they mean by that is you can use this code for that, and even though this one sounds the same, you can't use it for that. So you can use this code if it includes this diagnosis, but not if it includes that diagnosis. I know it's crazy. So read that thoroughly. Read that thoroughly because I don't want you to get twisted with that on your test. Excludes one and excludes two. Okay? Excludes one. You cannot include this with this code if it has this diagnosis. If it excludes two, you can include this code if it has this diagnosis. So just take heed to that because you are going to need that information. Okay, now let's do includes notes. Includes notes. The word includes appears immediately under the certain category to further define clarity or give an example of content or category. Inclusion notes. A list of inclusion terms are included under certain codes. These terms indicate some of the conditions for which the code that is under it may be used in. Inclusion terms may be synonyms with the code title or in case of or other. So you guys are going to go more in depth with that. Now, Y2U class, go in more in depth with that. Just read what we have here. I'm on page 414 of your ICD-10 book. Sapphire. Go into your Sapphire, go to your ICD-10 codes, get your notes from out of there, and request a one-on-one with me if you need it. Okay, if you need it. Okay. So we're still on the guidelines. What you should be reading: code first, use additional code. Code also. Okay. No alerts to code that more than one code is needed. Revised text, deleted text. Okay. Make sure you get those things down. And then they have like coding tips, new code, revised code. Those are like the conventions that I want you guys to look at. Okay, I want you guys to look at those conventions. Sapphire, you already have your class on that, and we kind of go through detail. Look at your notes. Look at your ICD-10. Look at your ICD-10 notes. Okay, those are the teacher's notes in there. Okay, prospective payment system. I'm only dropping this up there because this I saw this on the test. Outpatient prospective payment system. Make sure you know what that is. Okay, integrated outpatient code editor IOCE. Make sure you know what that is. Outpatient prospective payment system OPPS. You won't see that in your ambulatory section or E&M section. Okay, and this is important right here. This is important. I just kind of skipped down, but I've got to show you this portion right here. Okay, this is how you know when you're going to use that placeholder or when you're going to use a seventh character. Okay, Sapphire Academy, you have this class in your courses already. Okay, YTU, read this section. Okay, this is going to tell you when, why, and how to use a seventh character, or when to use more to identify, like left foot, right foot, six bone, left bone. You know what I'm saying? It's going to give you more of a definition. Okay, and if you because you might need six codes, and the third digit might be worthless. You might want to put an X there. You know, your fourth digit you may not use. You might want to put an X there because you want to use a further detail. So if you have a code that's explicit to a broken ankle, and you want to go more explicit to a longer detailed code, but you don't have a fourth code to use to put in there, that's when you're going to use that X at the end. You're going to use the X at the fourth digit, and then you can use your seventh digit. You see what I'm saying? That's what a placeholder is. But you're going to read that in depth. This is showing you how you're going to be coding. You're going to combine this with your step-by-step book. With your step-by-step book. Sapphire Academy, you have a detailed class in there that if you got a problem, you should be emailing. I haven't heard anything from anybody. These are my new students I'm talking to. Not the older students. Those students, y'all already out of this class. But for my new students, I haven't heard from y'all. So I'm thinking that y'all are okay with this. Okay? Let me put this up. So on this page, I'm on 482. Make sure you guys take heed to that, okay? Take heed to that. This same class is actually in the Sapphire Academy, and there is a little bit more in depth in there. But here I'm still putting you in the right place. What you need to be reading, okay? I'm on page 499. And here it's just giving you different type of codes that you can look into where you're going to be using the X placeholder or where you're going to be using a seven digit. Okay. So some of you who have already gotten through this, if you haven't gotten through your guidelines, go over them again. Put this on your index card now so you don't forget. Integrated Outpatient Coder Edit. IOCE. Outpatient Prospective Payment System, OPPS. So that goes on your index cards right now. Okay. So this one must be new. This is new. UPD, Unacceptable Principal Diagnosis. They're giving you a diagnosis that can't be used as a principal. You know that because when you go into your ICD-10, some diagnosis codes you cannot use as a primary code. Okay, and then you might get a question like that on your CPC. Can I use this as a primary code? No. Okay. I'm on page 519. I don't know how I get to page 519 so fast. I was right here. Oh, it skips. Yeah, see, I'm like, I can't trust this book now. So this is like the Kindle version. It's still good. I don't care. But for some strange reason, it just skipped all the way down to 519. Okay, well, it's still a good book for you guys to use for study. Okay, it's a good book for you guys to use for study. I got to get back to book. Okay, so again, your ICD-10 will consist of your index to diseases, your table of neoplasms, table of drugs, external causes and injuries, okay? Your tabular list, okay? Hold on, I can't get this. All right, let me see. I wonder why this is happening. Oh, all right. So, in your tabular list, which we're not doing right now, we're going to do that another day because we're going to run into too much time. But I'll try to stick it out as much as I can. But I do have to do another class of it. Okay, not the guidelines. We're done with the guidelines. You got to go into external causes of injuries and injuries. That's your next class, external causes of injuries. I just want to see the neoplasm diseases. Okay, yeah. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that in your tabular list. Your guidelines. This is the last class of your guidelines. And that's pretty much what we're looking at right here, your guidelines. Your next coding class is going to be Friday, and that's going to be going into your index to diseases. Like what we went into a few minutes ago, and when I was telling y'all this is like a dictionary, we want to look for that dermatologitis thing. That's what we did. So there is where we're going to continue with this class. So right now, if you have your bucks, which the next class is not till Friday, so you got enough of time. But if you have your step-by-step bucks, that's what you're going to need. Okay, that's what you're going to need. Okay. Now, remember, we went over some of this, right? You remember we went over some of this? This is primarily everything that we're going to go over. So if you have your ICD-10 book, that's what we're going to go over. The guidelines is the most thing that you're going to do. Now, like I said, the free version gives you a wonderful idea of what we're going to be doing. If you go to the CMS guidelines, well, let me get it because I almost don't like all those. I almost don't like the format of those guidelines that are in the free version. So hold on, y'all. All right, I'm gonna put the guidelines in there, the CMS version. Okay. Even the version is in there, but I don't know. I went from page 499 and it skipped all the way to. It's still a good free learning tool, but I'm gonna give you all this one as soon as I find it. All right, so I don't know what that is right there, but I can get it from right here. Uh, Copy. All right, so I'm gonna put it right here on the side. All right, and I'm gonna put it right here. Now, these are the guidelines from CMS. That the free book that we have in Kindle is what I want you to use as just an extra dummy book with some things that are in there. But I can't find a consistent flow of what's in there. It's still a good book for you to use to learn what. But the CMS guidelines here, I'm gonna share my screen on them. Use those for your homework tonight. From now to Friday, I want you to use this one. I want you to use this one. It looks like it has a much better format in there. Use this one. This is public knowledge. This is not nothing that we're copywriting. It has your same CMS stuff in there. It has your guidelines, has HIPAA, um, and it has this has the same type of format that's in the other book. And this is about 120 pages right here. So don't try to print it out, okay? Your conventions are in there. Some of the things that we were just talking about. Remember, excludes one, excludes two, inclusion, excludes nodes. We're going to be talking about the etiology, classification, and with CNC also. See, this is in the Sapphire portal, but I'm putting you in the right place, YTU, of what you're going to be studying. You're going to be looking at sequela and pending. This is everything that's going to be in these guidelines. This is everything that's going to be in it. Look, mental health behavior, endocrine. It has the same thing in there. Okay? This is the same thing, if not better. Look, application of seven characters in chapter 19, injury and poisoning. They're telling you what's going to be in these guidelines, and it's actually better than it's a better format than what's actually in the book because the way that it is laid out. Now I know everybody can get this. Everybody can get this. We're still on this portion because I want you to do the step-by-step book as well. Okay, I want you to do the step-by-step book. So again, your V codes, external courses, place of occurrence. Read this, okay? Make sure you guys read this. This is going to be. It's not the last day of this, but this is where I want you to kind of get good with it. Okay, activity codes. Read about that. Read about sequela. Section two. See section two right here. Okay, and remember this is the guidelines. There's three sections there. You guys can see what I'm looking at. So I want you to take the conventions, general coding guidelines. This is section one. This is section one, section two, and section three. Like on the test is going to say, where is the conventions in section 1-2224? You're going to already know because this is what you're reading. Okay, here, this is your punctuations. Brackets are used in the tabular list to encode synonyms, alternative wording, or explanatory phrases. Brackets are used in the alphabetic index to identify manifestation codes as in further disease. Now, this could be on your test. What are brackets used for? You know, and then it can be flipped around, Are brackets used in alphabetic index to identify manifestation? They can have a yes or no question. Okay, it tells you also what the colon is used for. Let me just make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing. I don't know what that is. Yeah, you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so it's 56 and we're almost an hour in, so this class is almost over. But again, these are the CMS guidelines that I want you to go through. Okay, here, same thing. Remember what we was talking about? It's a little more in depth because you could, it gives you a little bit more, but I want you to go ahead and combine every resource that you have. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. You see this right here? It says C-section. Now, on your test, it might say, give me the section for use of signs and symptoms, unspecified code. Your answer is going to be I, period, B, period, 1-8, period. So if you have a multiple choice question that has K, M, B, C, D, that's not it. This is going to be your answer. So you see right there how important it is to read your guidelines. They may ask you that, okay, and do not sleep on registering for the classes. Remember, these classes are free. So, I can't give you 100% plus, but I can give you enough to put you in the right place to pass that CPT. Okay. I hit the wrong thing. Okay. So I'm just kind of scrolling down. It was one to etiology, manifestation, conventions. Code first, use additional code, and in diseases classified elsewhere. Notes. Now, do you see how important this is? Now, I know y'all started reading your guidelines. All right. I know y'all ain't finished, but that's the reason why we had 3 classes. And I have to give y'all a little more time because I had to split the classes because I could not do a class. So you have till next Friday before we actually move on. If I get emails, and remember, and the word and should be interpreted to me either and or with when it appears in the title. For example, cases of tuberculosis of bones, tuberculosis of joints, and tuberculosis of bones and joints are classified as that's going to be fun. Y'all read that. Okay. So it's telling you the difference between and with. With this disease, oh no, she has that disease and that disease. Okay, with this disease, and she has this, and she has it with that. That's why she got this. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I want you to read it again. Read this again. If I get enough emails from you guys to say, okay, Miss Lambert, we need to go over this one more time. Code and code also, default codes. Remember, we just went over that. Okay, locating a code in the ICD-10. This is where we're going to be at. Right here. Okay, this is where we're at, right here. General coding guideline, locating a code in the ICD-10-CM. So this is what you guys are going to be reading, okay? This is going to be in your next class, okay? This is going to be your next class, but I gave you a little tip of it a few minutes ago, okay? So to select a code and a classification that corresponds to a diagnosis, remember reason for visit, okay? Why the patient is here, documented in a medical record. First, locate the term in the alphabetic index. So I ain't gonna read the whole thing, but that's pretty much where we're at. So everybody should have these same guidelines. I want everybody to do the guidelines from here. Okay, everybody do the guidelines from CMS. Okay, and then you're going to be general coding guidelines. When we get ready to do this, it should be easy for you. can't believe it. That class went so fast. All right. Well, that's where you should be. Okay, that's where you should be. I'm putting this up so we should be right here. Okay, because the other stuff we did. But when I come back on Friday, this is where I'm gonna be at. Okay, this is where I'm gonna be at when I come back Friday. So this class is over, but that's where I'm gonna be at. So everybody should be ready to start. We already went over some of this, so everybody should be ready to start. Okay. So I'm gonna close this down. Sapphire, y'all got this in y'all academy, all right? See y'all Friday.